My name is Jared Grabb, and this is Our House Sessions.
Hello. Tell us about the new album. You're doing covers?
So this month I am releasing a covers album called Rest on Us All, and it's going to be supporting First Try Sessions out of Springfield, Illinois, which raises money to give guitars and lessons to children who wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise. Looming... So Jessica from Looming started the organization, and Looming did a covers record to start raising money for it, and I wanted to contribute to that. So that's why I'm spent the last 3 months making my own covers to provide for that.
Awesome. And so you're also staying busy doing a podcast that's kind of Peoria-centric as well.
Yeah, I do a podcast called Middle America, and it's everywhere that you get podcasts, about half-hour episodes, and it combines music with storytelling of like kind of a fictionalized memoir with factual Peoria history. Just tries to tie it all together. The memoir is intended largely to infuse emotional weight to the history.
Awesome. And then you've definitely been busy during the pandemic, but how do you see art as a whole and music as a whole in Peoria? What kind of role should it be taking right now?
During the pandemic?
Yeah.
So I feel like people need to be responsible and not be infecting each other. Hence me wearing a mask to perform. And I was saying earlier that this is one of the only times I've been in a room with other people, even with everybody having masks on, who's not in my immediate family circle in many months. So I have not been playing shows since February, and I feel like everybody's got to make their own choices, but for me, I feel like it was more responsible to not try to get people to gather during this time when I want everybody to be safe, and especially when I can do live streaming and stuff like that. And it's different, but I think we can embrace that.
All right. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got started in the Peoria music scene?
Sure. So in the mid-90s, I was in high school, and I started going to shows promoted by a variety of DIY promoters, one of them being Jonathan Wright, who plays in Lark's Tongue nowadays and runs Peoria magazines. He had a promotion group called Naked Bums back in the day. And I went to a lot of the shows he promoted, seeing local punk bands and stuff, and I just wanted to, I just really liked that vibe, and I wanted to be a part of that scene. Initially, wasn't thinking about traveling or anything like that. I just wanted to be in a band that was making things. And then around the time I was in college at Bradley, we started traveling and just trading shows, and we'd do ridiculous travels to like Lincoln, Nebraska for like one show and then come back, or go down to Dallas, Texas for one show and come back, because we didn't understand how to do tours until around 2002. But then through that, basically through the 2000s, I was playing in Scouts Honor and the Forecast, and eventually was in Angry Gods through the 2010s, and been playing solo kind of through all that, and been promoted shows at the Meeting House, and promoted shows at Pizza Works and Rail 2, and I don't know, just trying to support people and their art, and while making what I make.
Yeah, so do you feel that you're, how do you feel your kind of place in the overall music community has changed over the years?
I don't get invited to as many house shows as I used to. Aww. Yeah, I feel like, so my place is, I don't live in a punk house anymore. I don't have the police raiding my house to break up a show anymore. But it's so I definitely see that when I was in my mid-20s and late 20s, I felt like an old man in the scene, and here I am 40 years old, and I'm still trying to be involved. So I can't say how anybody else views me. I'm definitely an old man by like punk standards, but I still love it all, so I just try to be a part of it, and I try to support all ages of people making stuff. As long as they're making art, I want to be there and support it.
So there is like, there's always a new generation coming up. It seems like there's always, new kids getting ready to jump in and start their first band or record their first CD. Is there any advice you'd have for those people just starting off?
It seems like the scene changeover can often be like 3 and 4 years cycles, where basically how long it takes to get through high school. Things that I would say in these days, it's completely different. The recording world is completely different than it used to be. So whereas we used to have to drive to other big cities to get to a nice recording studio, you can now do nice recording at home. I've seen amazing work by the guys with like Unamused Dave and Terribly Happy, and even like Minsk has done a lot of home recording now. My last album was home recorded. There's a lot more that you can do in your home these days. And so I would just say find a basic way to record at home and just make things. To experiment. Don't be afraid to make stuff that sucks, because so much of it is just making like a big pile of suck before you make anything good. And then maybe try and save the rest of the world from that suck, but as much as possible. But make a lot of stuff that just make stuff and make and then don't be afraid to everybody has a first tour, everybody has a first album, everybody and it's just like the first one might not be the good one, but that's fine as long as you're going forward.
So, speaking of getting rid of the suck, I know you've been taking part in a couple other things that aren't necessarily music related, one of them being Peoria Mutual Aid. Can you tell us a little bit about that? This
fella named Nick started Peoria Mutual Aid. I got involved with it really late because they've been doing it for months now. But just in the last month, I started driving deliveries and doing a little bit of packing. Basically, people donate to the group, and then it's redistributed back out to members. It's been really wonderful as a way to, during these tough times where people are having trouble with the rent, having trouble with food, it's been a really great way to make an impact and not have it tied to a religious organization or something like that, or have some kind of prerequisites to be involved. It's just people helping people, and that's what I love about it. All right. So this is Cold Hard World. Ties and under 2x4s, amongst the rocks and autumn leaves, there lies a rabbit's corpse. Round the corner, amongst the houses wiring, there lies stray with catch of the day, a mouse whose sun is setting, and it's cold. It's cold cold hard world. And it's murder amidst the crows that haunt the trees in the dark, over dirty roads of ice and snow, where in the morning cars will park. And to the man whose needle drugs we found, her eyes later stay glued. And I feel a mix of pity, guilt, and fear each time he does intrude. And it's cold, it's cold, cold hard world. It's cold, it's cold, cold hard world. It's cold, cold hard world. Is this any place for my baby girl? Thanks. All right. This is a Sturgill Simpson song. The old man said, son, now can you sing a little bit more clear? Voice might be too genuine, song a little too sincere. Sing a little more about outlaws and the way things used to be. Boy, just worry about writing them songs, leave everything else to me. Papa was a highwayman, but he never wrote any old country songs. Papa never stayed out raising hell till the break of dawn. Raise a crack on my dawn, and I'm proud to be your son. Boy, I don't care if you hit it big, 'cause you're already number one. That's the way it goes this day and age. Ain't got to read between the lines, just got to turn the page. Most outlaw thing I ever done was give a good woman a ring. It's the way it goes. Life ain't fair and the world is mean. Well, I still got the wife and the dog, trade my truck in for a van, and I'll keep on that long white line to the promised land. Hear my songs on the radio, 'cause the news sounds all the rage. But you can still find me a smoky bar, bad sound in a dim lit stage. It's the way it goes this day and age. Ain't got to read between the lines, just got to turn the page. Most outlaw thing I ever done was give a good woman a ring. It's the way it goes. Life ain't fair and the world is mean. It's the way it goes. Life ain't fair and the world is mean. Something like that. Thanks. So back in June, I released a record called Among Thieves with my band, Grabb Among Thieves, which includes my friends, good friends, Tom Satterfield, Chris Anderson, and as of late, Brett Conlon, who's a great songwriter in his own right. We released a record that's all kind of about Peoria stories. This song's Potter's Son, The Potter's Son. I was born a potter's son, 5 miles north of Switzerland. I was the ninth born and the fourth son. The eldest, he took the one spot with my father to man the ovens. There's power in the change. In my youth, saw rebellion. Revolution to the west in France. The rise of industry and a better life it seemed. Skipped over my village. With Katerina, sought the promised land. There's power in the change. The heat brings resilience. Become a baker by trade. The upheaval of my youth, it followed me to my American days, but I knew it, looked in its face. Civil War, the business was made. There's power in the change. There's power in the change. The heat brings. Lo, left sores upon my legs. Many hours per week and 7 days. But I live to a ripe old age. Put sacred art in its place. My creations live on today. There's power in the change. Power in the change. There's power in the change. The heat brings resilience. This song's by Woody Guthrie. Sun came shining as I was strolling, the wheat fields waving, dust clouds rolling, voices chanting as the fog was lifting, saying this land, oh, this land. And I roamed and rambled, I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me, a voice was sounding, saying this land, oh, this land. One bright sunny morning, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people. As they stood hungry, I stood there wondering if this land was made for you and me. There's a great high wall there that tried to stop me. A sign was painted, said private property, but on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Yes, this land was made for you and me.